What's up, nerds, and welcome to the Nerd History Podcast, the newest addition to the Love Thy Nerd Podcast Network. The Nerd History Podcast exists to do what all nerds love the most, dive deep into the nostalgia of nerd culture that made us who we are. Each episode, we'll spotlight one particular nerd history event from that week and take a deep dive into the fandom, the lore, the nerdy facts. I'm Radio Matt, the Director of Content and Resources for Love Thy Nerd and the Station Manager for LTN Radio. And with me today and forevermore is my amazing bride, Daedra.
I'm Daedra. Hello.
We are the Nerd Historians, and today on the show, we're taking a look back at the history of the Nintendo Switch, which celebrates its 7th anniversary this week.
Wow.
Let's take a quick look at the Nintendo Switch and give some of our initial thoughts.
That's a big paragraph, sir. All right. The Nintendo Switch is a revolutionary game console released by Nintendo in 2017, which has since redefined the landscape of home and portable playing. I would agree with that. Gaming. Gaming.
You agree with both?
Its hybrid design allows players to use it as a handheld device or connect it to the television via a docking station, offering unparalleled flexibility in how and where games can be played. I'm just inspiring you.
Unparalleled flexibility.
The console features detachable Joy-Con controllers, which can be used... Oh, the little thingies. Okay.
Yes.
Which can be used individually.
Otherwise technically known as the little thingies. That's how you probably know them.
That's how I know.
That's their technical specifications. Little thingies.
Which can be used individually or attached to a grip for a more traditional controller experience.
So we have had a Nintendo Switch...
Since
most
they made
of those times, yeah, most of those years.
I'm sure you were like, "We're getting this." Yeah,
I think it was maybe a year after it came out when we got it.
probably. I probably made you wait that long or something.
I feel like we typically do. Actually, I can't say that. We've only bought two consoles together, and one was the Wii. The first one was the Wii, and we bought that long after it was out.
That's true.
And then we didn't buy the Wii U.
Yeah.
Your sister did. Sister's family.
Do they have the Wii U?
Yeah. That was our experience with that. And it wasn't great. We'll talk about that later. What do you love or hate about the Nintendo Switch?
Like games or just the features?
Not games. Let's talk about games next.
Okay.
But like the features of. Or lack of features.
I really like the portability concept of I can hold it or play on the TV. Especially with kids when, if they want to play on it, but I want to watch TV. We can do both.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice and portable.
If I'm playing on the TV and I need to poop, I can just grab it and go. That's my favorite part.
I bet that's every man's favorite part.
It's every man's favorite part.
I bet it is. Yeah.
Guaranteed. Every man's favorite part of it.
My beef with it is those little thingies.
The Joy-Cons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go out too easy. They don't. We've had several of them that like you're playing Mario Kart and it just always veers you to the right.
Joy-Con drift.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later too.
Yeah.
So I do really much enjoy the portability, how it is both a home console and a portable console. Uh-huh. But the beef that I have with it also revolves around the little thingies. Whenever you have to use just one Joy-Con as its own controller.
It's so teeny.
Oh my gosh, it's the worst. We last year we had the Love Thy Nerd staff retreat. And the first night we were playing different games. And we wound up playing Mario Kart, and I got stuck using one of those tiny little controllers. And, we're doing 8 races in this. I'm still beat everybody. Bubba was flipping a lid by the end of it, too. Whooped them all.
You know what I like about hearing that, though?
Yeah.
Is that it's not that I suck, that you win all the time,
Yeah, no, I'm just really good.
I bet I'm really good. I'm just not as good as you.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could be in there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're right up there. I will say.
Never mind that my 9-year-old is beating me now, but whatever.
They messed up my strategy with Mario Kart though.
Oh, yes.
Because I didn't know
Told
I
me.
didn't know it was frowned upon.
You didn't know you were a jerk.
I didn't know I was a jerk. My strategy was always, I'm going to hang back, let everybody take off. And the first set of items I get, I'm going to get something good. And then I'm just going to catch up and then use it at the front. And apparently that's not nice. No one ever said boo about it to me. But now with the last update, which is the final update, they removed that. They're like, if you do that, when you hit that item box, you're just going to get a banana. Like, it's not going to give you a good item.
You know how to use those bananas, though.
I do. I'm really good.
You're really
I'm
good.
skilled. There is an element of luck, but there's a heavy element of skill if you know what you're doing. Anyway, speaking of that, what's your favorite game to play on the Switch?
Mario
Kart. Of course it is.
Of course.
It's such a good game.
Yeah.
And they made it even better. They doubled the game, essentially.
True.
They doubled the amount of tracks over the last 2.5
many.
years.
So many.
Like, I can't even remember most of them. Like I got on it the other day for the first time, just like by myself in a while. And I'm like, gosh, have I played all of these? And like, I know I have, because it's always been a big deal. Every time they come out with the next wave, we sit down with the family and we play through all of them. But like, I don't remember so many of them.
Yeah.
Really fun stuff. More challenging. Those Mario Kart Tour ones that they brought over, which are of actual places, like cities, those are difficult, because rarely are you in a lap.
Yeah.
It's always just like this changing course that sometimes you'll hit the same spots, but you'll go the other direction.
Right.
Or you'll be going the complete opposite direction with other cars coming at you. Like, it's some craziness.
Here's what
But
we
fun.
found out with that, right? Was that in those ones, I do really well, because I've never memorized any of the courses anyway.
That's how you're used to it.
So I'm used to just, okay, it's pointing this way, and I'm always not knowing where I am. So, but you know, the secret thing is right here, and this is the best spot for the good drift over here. And
Right. And
I'm
on
just all over the
normal
board.
maps, you can do that 3 times.
Right.
But-
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the changing maps, like, I got to keep up with everything.
Too much for the brain.
Well, we're going to take a deeper dive into the history of the Nintendo Switch here in a bit. But now, it's time for a game.
Yay! I thought we weren't doing that. I thought we were doing something else.
We are doing something else. How about you read your lines?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Like,
Each-
out loud. Okay.
I just watched Bewitched the other day, and that joke was in there. Each week, we typically go head-to-head in a game to put our nerdy nostalgia knowledge to this test. However, this week, I'm taking a break, because I demanded it. No. And from answering questions to put Matt through the gauntlet. Today, I have 25 trivia questions about Green Lantern, Matt's favorite superhero, and we're going to go rapid fire to see how many he can get right. As is typical with the trivia, it's all about X's. Each question is multiple choice, and if Matt answers incorrectly, he gets an X. But has to keep guessing until he gets the correct answer, which means he could get potentially... each question could get him potentially 3 X's.
Correct.
So 3, that's 75 X's you could get.
That's possible.
I'm going to make it hard on him and say to win, he can't get more than 5 X's. If he hits 6 X's, he forfeits the game. You're just done after that?
Yep. I'm not worthy of finishing it if I get it.
Wow.
I'm not going to
You think
lie.
you're going to get that many?
5?
For 25 questions. That's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think you're not going to get 5?
Okay, are you saying, what are you asking? Because it sounded like you said you think I'm going to miss 5 times.
Yeah. I think you're going to miss at least 5 times in 25 questions.
Okay, see, that's what I'm saying. I didn't want to make this easy on me. I wanted to put myself to the test. So
here we go. Here's the test.
here we go.
According to the script, I'm putting you to the test.
That's true. But like, I agreed to do this. All right, so let's go fast because it is 25. We don't want to drag this out for 20 minutes.
All right.
I'm not gonna labor on every answer, and we're not gonna read all the facts.
I will count with my
Just gonna
fingers the
answer.
X's so we don't have to pay attention to it.
That would be nice.
Okay.
I hope you have 0 fingers. Because that's how many X's there's gonna be.
Wow. We'll see. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The original Green Lantern was part of what superhero team? Green Lantern Corps, Seven Soldiers of Victory, Justice League of America, Justice Society of America.
Okay, I gotta be careful. Because that's original Green Lantern. Which that tells me that's Alan Scott. Not Hal Jordan. Alan Scott is Justice Society of America.
Correct.
Boom.
What city was home to the Silver Age Green Lantern? Central City, Coast City, Star City, Keystone City.
That's Hal Jordan, and that's Coast City.
Correct. Who gave Hal Jordan his power ring? Superman, his father, a dying alien, an Egyptian ghost.
Aben Sur, a dying alien.
I knew that one from the movie. What former Green Lantern Corps, is it Corps? Mm-hmm. Okay. Member was dishonorably discharged for abusing his power? Vandal Savage, Mirwidden, Dr. Polaris, Sinestro.
Sinestro. Boom.
What was the name of the orb created by the Guardians of the Universe that contained the stray neuromantic forces of the cosmos? Necromantic. Necromantic
forces of the cosmos.
Starfire, Starheart, Starfall, Stargate.
Starheart.
Wow. What was Hal Jordan's job before he became Green Lantern? Test pilot, police officer, petty criminal, social worker.
Test pilot.
Good. Who was the longtime nemesis slash love interest of the Silver Age Green Lantern? Zatanna, Belladonna, Black Mamba, Star Sapphire.
Carol Ferris, a.k.a. Star Sapphire.
Good
Control
job.
yourself.
Sorry. Who created the original Green Lantern?
Oh.
Martin Odell, Judd Winnick, Julius Schwartz, John Broome.
Oh, I didn't know there was going to be name-related questions.
Of course. Sorry, you got 5 X's.
I think it's Martin Odell, but I thought that name doesn't look right. In my head, I'm thinking it's Martin Dellon. But I guess that's just me misremembering how to pronounce the name. I'm going to say it's Martin Odell.
Correct.
Ah! Martin Odell, using the name Martin Dellon, created the original Green Lantern. Sorry.
You are screaming at me.
I'm so
All
happy.
Listeners.
I'm so happy I was right. I'm not crazy. Martin Odell using the name Martin Dellon, or Mart Dellon. Wow. Okay.
Huh.
Okay, so it was Mart Dellon.
Wow. Interesting.
That sounds familiar now. Okay.
Pseudonyms. Why do they do that? What creature controlled Green Lantern when he went insane and destroyed the Green Lantern Corps? Etrigan, Parallax, Morbius, Saduhem.
Parallax.
Saduhem. Correct. What actor said he was pretty much unhireable after playing Green Lantern? Andre Gordon, Jamie Dornan, Ben Affleck, Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
Poor guy.
I represented the death of a superhero for a while, he said. All right, 10 down, no X's.
Oh, you're doing good. Who serves as internal affairs for the Green Lantern Corps? Alpha Lanterns, Keepers, Lightsmiths, Green Lantern Honor Guard. Who serves as internal affairs? Ooh.
Alpha Lanterns. Boom.
Wow. Who ruled the world inside Green Lantern's power ring? Who ruled the world inside Green Lantern's power ring? Okay. Krona, Mirwidden, Sinestro, Dr. Polaris. Polaris.
Polaris. I don't know this. I'm just gonna guess. Krona. Oh.
We got his first X. Oh my goodness.
World Inside. I've never heard Widen before,
Mirrodin.
but it reminds me of like Mr. Mixelpidlick. That little
Tiny dude.
little tiny alien guy. I don't know what he is. I'm gonna guess that.
Okay. That is right.
Mirwine was an alien magician who ruled the weird world inside Green Lantern's power ring. I don't know this story whatsoever, but that was a guess. 1X.
All right. What writer/artist team received Shazam Awards for Best Writer and Best Artist in 1970 for their work on Green Lantern? You're making me talk a lot. Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons, Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams, Robert Kanier and Joe Kubert, Marv Wolfman and George Perez.
Oh, man. I don't know. Wild guess time. Marv Wolfman and George Perez. Dang it. Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams.
Oh,
Woohoo!
man, you could have racked it up there with that one.
2 X's. All right.
Number 14. Who served as the first trainer to the young Hal Jordan?
Boudica.
Kilowog, Cheslin,
Chaselin.
Sinestro.
Kilowog. Yep.
Nice. Who was the first female Green Lantern of Earth? Carol Ferris, Jennifer Lynn Hayden, Molly Main, Jessica Cruz.
Jessica Cruz is the first one to get a title. I don't know if Carol Ferris ever, like, wore the ring, you know, like for one episode. You know how they do that, like, on the shows. Lana gets all of Superman's powers for a week.
I was going to use that as an example. Yeah.
But I'm going to say Jessica Cruz.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. What writer reinvented Green Lantern as an officer for the Interstellar Law Enforcement Agency?
Okay, so this... Go ahead. Sorry.
Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams, Jeff Johns, Julius Schwartz.
This is when he became Hal Jordan Green Lantern of the Green Lantern Corps, as opposed to Alan Scott Green Lantern, who I think just had a piece of that star heart, and that's what gave him his powers. But I don't know who it was. It wasn't Jeff Johns. That was way too last for him. Neil Adams was in that last thing, as was Denny O'Neil. Neil Adams. Oh, gosh.
Number 3.
Oh, gosh.
No.
Denny O'Neil. Oh, no. Okay, well, it was Julius Schwartz. Oh, 1959. Julius Schwartz.
No.
Oh, that's not good. Okay.
Oh, dear.
I'm at 4.
You can do it.
Oh.
Who was the original Green Lantern? Kyle Rayner, John Stewart, Alan Scott, Hal Jordan.
Alan Scott. Easy one. All right.
All right. Which Green Lantern was a member of the Omega Men? Salak, Green Man, Jade, or Abin Sur?
Not Abin Sur. Not Jade. Salak was a Green Man.
Good job.
Okay.
Which Green Lantern eventually became a White Lantern? Kyle Rayner, John Stewart, Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner.
I feel like at least 2 of these technically became White Lanterns, at least briefly. But I'm sure it's referring to Kyle Rayner, who became a White Lantern and was able to stay a White Lantern.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Who survived the Manhunter's rampage through Space Sector 666?
Dun-dun-dun.
Oh, that sounds evil. Parallax, Relic, Lorag,
Atrocitus.
Atrocitus.
And it is him. Atrocitus.
Atrocitus.
Okay. That's 20 questions so far. 5 left. I have 4 X's. I can only have 2 more X's before I lose totally.
Right. 1 X.
1 X and then
And that's it.
I can't get any more.
That's all you get. All right. Who played Green...
Oh my gosh. Sorry. I have no idea. Read the question.
Who played Green Lantern in Justice League, The New Frontier? Kyle...
McLaughlin.
Mark Hamill, David Boreanaz,
Whatever.
Neil Patrick Harris.
No idea. It's not Neil Patrick Harris.
The only-
I know that. I
the only
know
one-
if it was him. It's not Mark Hamill.
Hamill, right?
He was the Joker. You'd recognize his voice. He wouldn't be a good Green Lantern, I don't think. Kyle McLaughlin or David Boreanaz.
Right.
Flipping a coin. Oh, praise be.
Phew.
David Boreanaz.
Thank you, David. What city did the original Green Lantern work out of? New York, Capital, Central, or Star?
Original Green Lantern.
Original.
DC doesn't typically use actual cities. It's not Central City. That is Flash?
Don't look at me.
I think it's Flash. It's not Star City. That is Green Arrow. So, Capital City? Oh, no! That's 5 X's!
Oh my gosh.
New York City? Oh!
Okay, you have to have all 3 of these last ones right,
Oh,
mister.
gosh. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh.
Which Green Lantern first appeared in Showcase number 22 in 1959? What the heck? Alan Scott, Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner, Simon Baz.
Not Simon Baz. He's new.
Showcase
Alan
number
Scott's way older than that.
22.
Guy Gardner. I don't think Guy Gardner was that early. 1959 was when that other question said that the person reinvented Green Lantern.
I do not
Hal
recall if
Jordan.
that was the right.
All right, 2 questions left.
Which Green Lantern was an artist before becoming a crime fighter? Jessica Cruz, Simon Baz, Kyle Rayner, John Stewart.
Kyle Rayner.
Oh,
That was the whole
Making me
thing.
nervous
When
just-
he was the just willy nilly.
Let's
That was the
do
whole
it.
thing. He was the last Green Lantern. He was the only Green Lantern for a while, and he redesigned his own suit. That was a big deal.
okay.
That was cool. All right, last question.
Which Green Lantern villain was killed by the human bomb during the Infinite Crisis? Dr. Polaris, Puppeteer, Necron, Goldface. Not to be confused with Golden Face. Uh-oh.
It's not Necron.
Killed by the human bomb during the Infinite Crisis.
Necron wasn't a big deal for Green Lantern until Blackest Night. Oh, but this wasn't even a Green Lantern thing. This was Infinite Crisis. That was a whole DC universe. I don't think it was Necron. Necron really can't die because he's dead. He's death. I'm not sure who Goldface is.
It's Jim Halpert.
Ready, set, die. I don't even really know who Puppeteer is. I know Dr. Polaris. Did he die?
Didn't we see Puppeteer in a show?
A show?
Uh-huh. Puppeteer. He puppeted. Man, what was that show?
No idea.
Oh, no, I might be thinking of Heroes. There
Oh,
was a guy who could do puppets and stuff.
Yeah, I think
Maybe.
you're thinking of Heroes. I'm going to guess Dr. Polaris. That's my best guess. It all comes down to this.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah!
Like, would you push it, please?
I was scared.
Phew.
I shouldn't have been. Because I am the best at Green Lantern Trivia.
Did you get 4 or 5?
I think I got 5, didn't I? I don't think we can go back to the others and see them, but you were counting. Pretty sure I got 5.
It was 4 or 5. Yes.
Pretty sure it was 5.
Yeah, because you got it, and then I said the last 3 you can't get any X's?
That's right.
Or was it
That's
the
right.
last?
That's what you said.
Yeah, okay.
That's what you said.
All right.
Oh,
Did it.
I don't know how long that was.
Too long.
Probably too long.
Rapid
But,
fire my fanny.
Now you know to mess with me.
On that specific topic.
That does it for our game. Let's take a trip back to 2017. Before we dive deep into the history of the Nintendo Switch, let's share some nerdy facts.
The Switch was originally code-named the Nintendo NX.
Mm-hmm.
The Switch is Nintendo's first console that is not region-locked, meaning you can play games from any country on it. Ooh, that's nice. The Switch has sold over 100 million units, making it the third best-selling console of all time, behind the PlayStation 2 and the Nintendo DS.
So you'll recall that I forgot about region locking when we were in college, and I ordered a Nintendo DS Lite or DSi. Was it Lite? DS Lite from Japan.
I think I do remember
Because it
that.
came out like a couple months before it did in America, and I was just so hyped for it.
You're like, I'm going
I
to...
ordered it,
Beat
and then
the
like
system.
as it was in the mail, I'm like, oh crap. What if it doesn't play American games? Like, am I going to have to order all my games from Japan? I was really panicking. I also worried like it didn't have an American plug. I'm like, did I have to go get like a weird adapter to plug it in? Fun fact, neither of those were a problem. But let me get on my notes.
Weren't you like
here.
going to go look for a plug ahead of time?
I was,
Would
and
you
you're
wait
like, "Would
till
just
we
wait."
get it, please?
But what if I want to play it immediately and I can't? So, at least as of the most recent reporting, the Switch is sitting at 139 million units sold.
Wow.
So the DS is at 154 million, and then the PlayStation 2 is at 155 million.
Oh.
And so, going
up there.
on with your last fact there, I think it's reasonable to assume that in the next year, the Switch will likely take the top spot.
Ooh.
Which is a big deal because PlayStation 2 came out in, I think it was 2000, maybe 2004. No,
Really?
2000. It was 2000.
I remember the big hype
a while.
on PS2.
PS2 was
I
popular.
think my brother got one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's quite possible.
Sure.
I mean, they kept selling it even after the PS3 came out. Like, they released the PS3, and I think maybe the year before, or maybe around the exact same time, they released the PS2 Slim,
Oh, yeah.
slimmer version. Like, they sold it for a while.
Yeah.
But honestly, this show's a little bit different today because we're not really going to be talking about the technical history of the Nintendo Switch because it's way less important than what the Switch represents for Nintendo. The Switch is proof that Nintendo's strategy of not directly competing with the PlayStation is a solid plan.
Okay.
So when the Nintendo 64 came out, it was a significant leap in graphics for Nintendo, going 3D, big deal. But the PlayStation had already been out for almost a year before and got the jump on the 3D market.
That's true.
So Nintendo released the GameCube in 2001. And while I wouldn't say it was a failure per se, it currently sits at the 22nd best-selling console of all time, while its rival, the PlayStation 2, is the current number one.
Yeah. Right.
So Nintendo pivoted, and instead of trying to keep up with graphics and hardware, they'd innovate. Instead of becoming an alternative, they'd be a companion.
Yeah.
So with the release of the Wii and the Nintendo DS, they changed the way we thought of video games by changing how we played video games.
That's true.
And they also relied heavily on their own IP as the big draws. So games that play on all consoles, otherwise known as like third-party games, were kind of an afterthought. Because they had powerhouses like Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, multiplayer games like Mario Kart and Super Smash Brothers. That's all a very solid foundation to build a console's worth of games on. And they've done that fairly successfully every generation. So suddenly, we saw PlayStation and Xbox stands buying their preferred consoles and also buying the Nintendo systems.
Right.
You'd have both.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it was a solid plan. It worked really well with the Wii.
Right.
And then came the Wii U. Wii U went too far outside of the box for most. It sold even worse than the GameCube.
Oh, dear.
Nintendo ended its support of the system after just 4 years. Wow. 4 measly years.
I had bought that. I'd be mad.
Like your sister-in-law. Or my sister-in-law. Your sister.
My sister.
They bought it. It did lay the groundwork, though, for the biggest game changer. A hybrid. A home console that was also a portable console. Because the Wii U had that kind of ability. You could be playing some games on the TV, and if someone else wanted to watch the TV, you could just transfer it all to that big pad that they had. But it was huge and bulky, and it wasn't that, I mean, it wasn't as handheld friendly as the Switch is.
Right.
And so it wasn't great. But it was the groundwork. It was the groundwork. So honestly, it was kind of a make it or break it moment for Nintendo. With how abysmally the Wii U did. Many were thinking that this next console that they were working on would probably be the last one.
Oh, really?
They thought Nintendo's on its way out. Had its day in the sun, had a great idea with the DS, another great idea with the Wii. How many more great ideas could they possibly have? Thankfully for Nintendo, they struck gold. They took the best parts of the Wii and the Wii U, added the ability to take it anywhere, and the Switch started strong, not only because of new games from their biggest franchises, but also by re-releasing some of their best games from the Wii U on the Switch, since many people never played them.
That's true. That's true.
The biggest of these being Mario Kart 8.
Okay.
The Mario Kart that we know and love was a Wii U game.
Okay.
That's why it's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Oh.
They fancied it up just a little bit, but initially it was just the port of the game from the Wii U that nobody got to play. Now, of course, like we said at the beginning of the show, they really amped it up in the last few years with the Nintendo Online subscription. Pretty much double the amount of tracks. Really cool stuff.
New players.
New players. Yeah, that's right. In the last couple of waves, they've added new characters to play as.
Who doesn't want to play as one of those big caterpillar guys?
Right.
I mean,
Wiggler.
That's awesome.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the best-selling Switch game, and it's not even kind of close. It is outselling the number 2 by over 15 million copies.
Wow.
So the Nintendo Switch received widespread acclaim. The Switch became the fastest-selling console, outselling the Wii U in only 9 months. Okay. The entirety of the 4 years of the Wii U outsold that in 9 months. In May of 2020, it was announced that the Nintendo Switch had sold over 107 million consoles since its release. November 2020, the Switch is the best-selling Nintendo home console ever. On the 6th of May 2021, Nintendo Switch sold more units than a Nintendo 3DS with 84.59 million units. So it beat that. Nintendo 3DS, moderate success, not as big as they wanted it to be. So when we talk about how close the Switch is to taking the top spot of the best-selling system of all time, that's a much bigger accomplishment than you might realize, because the Switch has only been on the market for 7 years. The Nintendo DS, which is in the number 2 spot, was on the market for 10 years to get its spot on the list. The PlayStation 2 was on the market for 13 years.
Before it hit number 1?
The Switch could overtake them both in only 8.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, some would say that these numbers for the Switch were helped by the pandemic.
Oh.
And they'd be right.
It's true.
A lot of holdouts attempted to get their hands on one in 2020 and 2021, leading a lot of retailers to sell out.
Yeah.
It was like it was a brand new console again.
Right.
And it was the week before Christmas every week. You could not find them in stores for the longest time. No one could get their hands on them. The 2020, 2021, and 2022 fiscal years were incredible for Nintendo. With the height of the pandemic almost doubling the sales of the first full year the Switch was available.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
When does that ever happen for a console that 3 years later it's going to double in sales
right.
from the initial release? There have been 3 versions of the Switch. We have the original. We have the Switch Lite, which is a portable only version that has a longer battery life, a little bit, and comes in fun colors. And then they have the Switch OLED, which has the same CPU, the same RAM, but has a larger OLED screen and 64 gigabytes of memory, which is about twice the original Switch. But honestly, it feels like all of Nintendo's console history has been leading to this system, where the paths of the home consoles and the handhelds kind of merged into one. Like, they don't even support the 3DS, the 2DS, the DS anymore. That ran out a few years ago because all of it's on the Switch now.
Right.
Now, they haven't ported games from the DS era yet into there, but we're getting closer to that.
Yeah.
They've gotten up to Game Boy Advance and Nintendo 64, which we haven't had yet. So that's pretty cool. But honestly, there isn't much to complain about with the Switch. There were a few third-party games that looked awful because they tried to sell the same game across the 3 different major consoles, but PlayStation and Xbox have such higher capabilities, higher specs, that they really had to downgrade the Nintendo Switch version with just like usually terrible graphics.
I see what you mean.
Personally, the worst I experienced was WWE 2K18.
I don't even remember.
I owned it for a week. It was a digital download. I had it as a digital download. I could not... I never played a match. I could not get my character to get down from the stage to the ring before it just froze.
Oh.
Forever.
Wow.
It was horrible. I had to call Nintendo and say, look, this game does not play. And they said, well, we don't normally offer refunds for digital downloads. I'm like, you don't understand. It's not that it's a bad game. It's not playable. And so it took a little talking, but they're like, okay, we're going to give you a refund.
And I hope that they took it off. That's not for anything important, is it?
No.
Okay.
And so, yeah, they did. I mean, they did eventually stop selling it, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
At least online. But
I wonder how much money they made for nothing.
WWE 2K, like that brand, did not make a game the next year for the Switch.
Oh.
At all.
I bet they...
And then they came out with another, like a dumbed down version of their game. It wasn't the 2K20 series. They changed it to something else for the Switch, while the other two got the mainline game the next year. And I think they were able to sneak something out for this previous year that it would work. But I mean, AEW's game works fairly well. Not as good as on the other ones, but anyway, we can talk about wrestling games all day.
Please don't.
Beyond that, the only gripe is really what you talked about earlier, the Joy-Con drift. So it appears what happens is like dirt can get underneath the little thumb mechanism.
Okay.
And it causes it to think it's being slightly pushed when you're not touching it. So massive problem, to be sure.
Very annoying.
But Nintendo does offer to fix it for free if you send it in to be repaired. So that lowers a massive problem down to just a minor hassle. So
that's good.
Not as bad. Daedra's dying. Let's get it
really
through here.
Trying not to cough. Have a cold if you can't.
It was a make it or break it system, and they made it. It's not an exaggeration to say that the Switch saved Nintendo.
I could see that.
Yeah. So
I mean, if you want to really go as far as to say we wouldn't have the Mario movie if they didn't bring out the Switch, I
think that's honestly possible.
I would think that.
Mario movie was good too.
So good.
It was really good. Much better than we thought it was going to be.
I ran out of tea.
Now that we've taken a look back at some of the Nintendo Switch history, we want to know what you thought. So we asked the LTN Facebook community, what has been your favorite Nintendo Switch game? We allowed them to add their own options to vote on and to vote on as many as they wished. So let's share the top 5. What do you think's in the top 5, Daedra?
It had better be Mario Kart. I'm just saying.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is number 4 in the poll with 11% of the vote.
Wow.
What else? Before you die. Before you keel over and die.
Good gracious. Probably not Mario Party.
Mario Party is not in the top 5. You're right.
I don't know.
So number 5 is Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Oh, duh. Yeah.
It's a really good one. Number 3 is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which is the one that just came out last year. Number 2 is Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Wow.
A blast. That's also the second best-selling game on the Switch. And then number 1 in our poll is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
First one that came out on the Switch.
Wow.
So all other games on this list only got like...
Need to get into Zelda, it sounds like.
I want to. I've tried. I owned the first 2 or 3 games on the NES. I owned at least 1 game on the Super Nintendo. It's like Lord of the Rings to me. It's just, I don't get it. I don't get the appeal. I'm sorry. I know that makes a lot of you want to take away my nerd card, but I just... So boring. Honorable mention in 6th place was Super Mario Odyssey at 6%, which I love that game so much. I've played through it.
Watching you play that game
way too many times.
Really fun.
It is a fun game. Yeah. So all other games on the list only got 1 to 2% of the vote.
Okay.
Which kind of goes to show that there are quite a wide variety of amazing games out there that people loved on the Switch. And there's still more games coming out, but it's a good system.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing is
now there's the
probably
deal
one I put
where
the most hours in.
Like I can't play it too and have my own.
That is the only problem with Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing will not allow you to have 2 separate islands, 2 separate accounts, which is, I feel like, a bit of an oversight. I'm not saying you got to provide for everybody in the family, but allow at least 2.
Right.
Right?
Right.
At least 2 accounts. Like, I know you can both
I remember
be
you got it
on...
and you were really excited, and I was like, maybe I'll start playing, and then...
The only way you could play, you could be on my island.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you could help with my stuff.
Right.
But it wasn't as fun, because you weren't experiencing all the...
You were like, here's your house.
All right.
This is my house, don't touch it. But then you would be nice, and you would leave me money.
I would leave you money, and I'd leave you gifts.
Yeah.
Every now and then. That was fun.
Yeah.
We did have some fun that way. But still, I was bummed that you didn't get to have the full experience of being ripped off by Tom Nook. Being put to work for nothing. So, I guess that wraps up our look at the Switch.
All right. What do you think of the Nintendo Switch? What was your favorite game? We want to know. Tell us on the almost had it. Tell us on the socials at Nerd History LTN.
Subscribe to the Nerd History Podcast via the Love Thy Nerd YouTube channel or on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. And find us on lovethynerd.com/nerdhistorypod.
And we also have our daily Today in Nerd History short and article that comes out every day at lovethynerd.com/nerdhistory with photos and nerdy facts.
Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, man. That sound means that it's time to take a look into the nerd future. And instead of a goofy AI written joke, I want to quickly take a look at the actual future.
Oh my
For
gosh.
Nintendo.
What?
The next Nintendo system, currently referred to by most as the Switch 2, which that probably won't be its name because Nintendo has never numbered its consoles, is all but confirmed to be coming out during the first quarter of 2025.
Ooh.
1 year from now, we could have the next Nintendo console.
Ooh.
So the question is, can Nintendo keep its success alive, or will it fall back into its pattern? Nintendo 64, big shakeup, moderate success. GameCube, mostly a flop. The Wii, revolutionary. The Wii U, hot garbage. The Nintendo DS changed the handheld game forever. The 3DS, fun, but way less profitable. The Switch might be the greatest console of all time. If the pattern continues, the Switch 2 could be setting itself to be the nail in Nintendo's coffin.
Nah. Not the nail in the coffin, but maybe not doing very good.
Or the Switch could represent a new era,
Or, yeah.
where its consoles build off the success of the predecessors. I think Nintendo has a good opportunity here to build off its current success by sticking to the formula. A system almost identical in mechanics, but with upscaled graphics, more power, trying to get over the hurdle of the third-party games problem. Make it as close to the other players, or at least PlayStation, as possible. Don't add some stupid mop handle controller or one with 4 joysticks. Just take what's working and enhance it.
Goodness.
Now, rumor has it that appears to be the direction that
What they're
Nintendo is going, but they have made little to no official announcements about what to expect. All we have are the few leaks from game developers who have received the information to start working on their games for that system. And so we'll see. We will wait in nervous anticipation
Yay.
to see what happens next. So as we wrap up, we are letting you know that we're taking a break next week, but we will be back in 2 weeks as we travel back in time to another event to celebrate in nerd history. Daedra's going to be getting over a cold. I'm probably just starting to get a cold, so hopefully I'll be over it too. But we also have, I have an LTN staff retreat next week to go to, so we'll be taking a break all around. But we've got some great topics coming up in the coming weeks that you don't want to miss.
Really excited.
Talking our favorite TV show of all time. I'm talking one of the greatest and longest running sci-fi shows of all time. I'm talking Wario. Plus, when you see us next, we should finally have the studio exactly how we want it. And I am excited for you all to see it in its final form. Ooh. It's going to look pretty different. Similar, but pretty different. I know that makes no sense now.
But it will.
But when you see it, you're going to say, that's similar.
but
pretty different. Once again, I'm Radio Matt.
And I'm Daedra.
And remember, in the past, present, and future,
Jesus loves you, nerd.